Meta. Most effective tactic available. Yes, who are the meta teams in this game? That is the question for the ages, and that is what we are talking about in this video, guys. So let's go smash it.
ValleyFlyin.
Hey, what's up all you Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. I am back. Welcome to the channel. Now, a couple weeks ago, I did a video on the arena meta. Yes, talking about the arena meta for offense and on defense. And my intent was always to follow it up with a video about the meta for the raids. But Alliance War is here, guys. And it is a very popular mode. So instead of just doing the raids, because the raids is kind of in a flux right now. We just got Ultimate 6. Not very hard. So what I wanted to do is combine the list that I did for the raids and talk about how they are viable in Alliance Wars, as well as how you can adjust some of these teams to make them very viable for Alliance War offense and Alliance War defense. So that is what we were talking about in this video, guys. If you're looking to improve your Alliance War teams, this is the video for you. Hey, there's also some great ValleyFlyin merch in the description down below, as well as the link for Patreon and BlueStacks, ways that you can support the channel. All right, but enough with the shameless promotion. Let's get to the meta report.
Spiderverse.
Yes, and the first team we're talking about is the Spiderverse. Wait a minute, they're not meta. Okay, so they're not meta, but they do deserve to be talked about because in Alliance War, they are still a very good offensive team. A lot of debuffs, a lot of tricks up their sleeve. This full Spiderverse team, you're getting debuffs removed by Green Goblin's passive on every single turn, so they do some good stuff. Not as good on defense though, because the AI is not gonna play this team right. There's a lot of different ways to do this, and the AI is just not gonna select the right opponents. Now, as far as the raids, not very good in the raids. They could do one node. They can't sustain multiple nodes though, so not a very good raid team, but indirectly, they will be very important for the raids, and you probably know where I'm going with this already. Yes, you will need them to unlock the legendary Shuri. And oh my goodness, this Wakandans look to be a very, very good squad. And the key for all that is Shuri.
Brotherhood.
Oh, and the ultimate meta team for offense right now is Brotherhood. Yes, offensively, they could beat pretty much any team out there. So for Alliance War offense, now, on defense, it's another story. They suffer from the same thing that the Spiderverse does. The AI is not going to play them right. They're not going to put the debuffs on the correct opponent, so probably not best to use them on defense. So for defense in Alliance Wars, Now in the raids, it's a total different story, and pretty much just like the Spiderverse, they don't have that sustainability to keep going in the raids. They could do a first wave. They have that opening move that will smash a lot of teams. But if you're running across multiple waves of hard opponents, or you're trying to do multiple nodes with this team, not very good.
Avengers.
Oh, the Avengers. How the mighty have fallen from the top spot. This was the meta team for a long time. Captain America, Black Widow, Quake, that was the original triumvirate with the speed up, the slow, and that offense up with that energy distribution. This was the basis for so many teams. Now, the team that I used to use a lot in the raids was Captain America, Black Widow, Night Nurse, and then I would use Hawkeye, but Thor actually works pretty good in this team too for the raids because, yes, he's not that great of a character, but when you pair him with Black Widow and Captain America, Black Widow kind of solves the speed problem for Thor, and Captain America gives him energy, so he's getting those turns off, or those big skills off a little quicker. But Hawkeye works in this team as well, so does Vision. Now for Alliance Wars, you're gonna have to use a little different configuration. You got Captain America and Black Widow, and I think Iron Man and War Machine work very well on this team as well, especially because Captain America, War Machine have that military tag, which gives them a little extra damage and some other boosts during the war. Now, there's two ways you could go with that fit spot. The first way is with Vision to make use of the tech tag from Iron Man and War Machine, and you're gonna give them defense up in the beginning, so good stuff there. And the other way you could go with this team is to use Captain Marvel in that fit spot to really make use of that military tag that War Machine and Captain America also have. So good squad, and this team will shine very much so on offense and on defense in the Alliance Wars. So the Avengers, meta for Alliance War offense, meta for Alliance War defense, and not so much on the raids anymore.
Kree.
Ooh, next we got the Kree. Now this was the team that was supposed to allow you to clear every single raid with ease. And from what I have seen so far, that is not really the case. These guys, I've even had trouble winning with these guys in Blitz, but you need to configure this team in a different way. And I think the way you want to configure this team is the same for the raids and for the Alliance Wars. I think the squad that works the best right here is going to be Kree Royal Guard, Minerva, Ronin, Kree Reaper, and Kree Noble. Although Kree Cyborg is still a good character that you might want to slot in there, maybe in that Reaper spot, but I think that is the best configuration. Now in the raids, they are supposed to be passing energy through each other, and a lot of the buffs that Ronin gives with healing and the speed up is relying on that. From what I have seen, my personal experience, I don't see that energy flying all over the place enough to really make use of that, of all these tags and all this synergy that this team is supposed to have. So a little disappointing, little underwhelming in my book, but still a very good squad. I think they are more of a defensive squad for Alliance Wars. So my rating, offense, no, not so much on Alliance Wars, but defense, I would give them a thumbs up. I think they are a meta team for defense. And as far as the raids, a little disappointed with them. I think they work better in a hybrid team, which I'm going to talk about a little later.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ooh, the Guardians. These guys were very, very good for a long time. And with that rework, it just kind of pushed them over the edge into that meta discussion. So let's talk about how you would configure this team, because you got 6 Guardians right now, but you could only use 5. Now, let's go with raids first. Let's talk about the raids first. So the team that I would use for the raids is the Rocket, Groot, Mantis, Star-Lord, and Drax combo. That's the team I think works the best, although you might want to put Gamora into that Drax spot. That one also works, but I think Drax gives a little more sustainability. Now for Alliance Wars, I think you're going to want to take out Mantis and put in Gamora. So you're going to go with Rocket, Groot, Gamora, Star-Lord, and Drax. That is the team that I think works the best, although I've seen a bunch of different configurations of this team work well. So as far as offense in Alliance Wars, meta. As far as defense in Alliance Wars, they are very, very good. I think they just fall in the cusp of meta, so give them there. And obviously in the raids, this is what this team was designed for, and yeah, they do very well there. They're not as disappointed as that Kree team was. So for the raids, the Guardians, they are meta.
Defenders.
Oh, and then we got the Defenders. Ever since their rework, they have been in that discussion of meta. Very, very good team, and they are a very hard counter to the Brotherhood. If someone is silly enough to leave them on defense, this Defenders will just wipe the floor with them. Now, with that said, let's talk about the raids first. So as far as the raids, there's 2 different ways that you could go with them. You could go with the Miss Marvel way, which I think gives them a little more sustainability, or you could go with the Punisher's version of the Defenders, which gives them a little more offense. Now, for me, I think that Luke Cage and Iron Fist give them enough sustainability that you don't need that extra sustainability from Miss Marvel. So I prefer that one, but I know a lot of people like the Miss Marvel version. In Alliance Wars, it's a little different. I definitely would go with the Punisher version, because Miss Marvel, you can make a whole nother Hero Brawlers team with her. So you want to spread out your teams. You want a lot of teams in Alliance War, and I wouldn't use Miss Marvel in that spot, because where would you put Punisher? I don't know. Maybe you got a good team for them. I don't. I put Punisher with the Defenders. And on offense, again, they are a hard counter to many, many teams, especially that Brotherhood. So Alliance War offense, meta. As far as defense, well, you could beat them. You could beat them with a few different teams, but you're going to be using one of your strong teams if you wanted to beat the Defenders. So yes, they are still meta in the Alliance War defense, and obviously very, very good for the raids because of Iron Fist. They got that sustainability. Plus, he's going to heal them on the start of each battle. So yes, meta for raid.
Shield.
All right, and we can't talk about the meta without talking about S.H.I.E.L.D. Yes, we had to talk about S.H.I.E.L.D. And they are the strongest team in the game, in my opinion. Yes, they can be beat by the Brotherhood, but they have so much more versatility because they work good on offense. They work good on defense. They work good in blitz. They work good on the raids. Brotherhood struggles a little in the raids. They struggle a little in certain areas. So as far as the best team, in my opinion, it is the S.H.I.E.L.D. team. There's some hybrid teams that I'm going to talk about a little later that I like a little better, but S.H.I.E.L.D., they do stuff so well. Two main versions of S.H.I.E.L.D. that I like are the one with Operative in that extra spot and the other one with Trooper in the extra spot. Now, for a long time, I ran the Trooper version of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they did very well, but there are some teams that they struggle with, especially against the Guardians team. To remove that initial taunt from Drax, you want to go with the other one. You want to go with the Operative version. The Operative version probably a little better for the raids, gives the team a little more sustainability with that trickiness from the Operative, with that stealth, regen, counterattacks, buff removal. This does a lot. So as far as the raids, I think you want to go with the Operative version, and yes, they are meta. Now, as far as Alliance Wars, obviously they are meta as well. On offense, they could beat most teams. There might be a few tricky teams in there that are a good counter to them. Especially if you're punching up a lot, and that is one good thing about S.H.I.E.L.D. They allow you to punch up against much stronger opponents. So as far as Alliance War offense, yes, they are meta, and as far as Alliance War defense, they are meta as well. Depending on how you configure your squad and how your Alliance War strategy is going, you might want to put them on offense or defense, just depending on what you're doing, but they work well in both situations.
Mixed team.
So my favorite team right now, especially in the raids, is this mixed hybrid team where you're taking a few different factions and combining them into one kind of a super team. So some people I've heard call this a hybrid Guardians team. I've heard some people call this a hybrid Kree team. I've heard some people call this a hybrid tech team. Whatever you want to call it, this is a solid team. And the basis of this team: Thanos, Minerva, Groot, Rocket, and Star-Lord. Now, Groot has been switched out. I've seen him switched out for Mantis. I've seen him switched out for Vision. And each of those switches add a little bit extra. For me right now in the raids, I like the Groot version, and I would say this team is definitely meta. Every time you are killing an opponent, you're getting that energy from Thanos, and you're getting that healing from Minerva. So works very well in the raids because you're killing multiple opponents. Now, I've used this team in Blitz, and this team punches up very well. I've beaten Defenders teams that are 40, 50k above my mixed team, and they wiped the floor with them. Not even close. Not even close. Super good synergy with this team. Now, in Alliance Wars, the main problem you're going to run across with this team is that you're splitting up other teams. So if you already have split up your Guardians team, if you've already split up your Kree, if you're not using Vision in another team, this could be a very good team. But I like the Groot in this in that 5th spot, just because I have Vision in other teams, and Groot, I don't really have a place for him outside of this team. So I run the Thanos, Minerva, Groot, Star-Lord, and Rocket version, and they do very well. On offense, they would kick some butt, but again, the negative is that you're splitting up teams. And on defense, they would also kick butt as well. So that is my favorite hybrid / mixed team to use in the raids, and they work very well in other game modes as well, including Alliance War. But I know there's a lot of other teams out there that mix different teams that work very well in Alliance War. What is your favorite team? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to be doing some experimenting, more experimenting in Alliance Wars. It's still a pretty new game mode. I'm trying some different things. A lot of times I end up using my Blitz teams, and I'm switching around my Blitz teams to get more experience, to try out different combinations, to see what is the most effective. So if you have not already, subscribe to the channel because that video is coming soon. Smash on that like button, join the notification squad, and make sure you give a Hulk fist bump. I will see you next time. ValleyFlyin out.